Hey guys, welcome to Yay Basketball Daily. I'm Michael. This is Kyle. What is it? The 30th.
30th.
Last day.
What a month.
What a month it was. Fast month. Went by very quickly. 3 games to go over today. We've got, we'll just dive right in. Luka and the Mavericks, they took care of business at home against the Warriors. We've got to look at his some of his stats here, some of his buckets. So these are his assists, I suppose. 41, 12, and 12. Is that right?
41, 12, and 12 on, was it 14 and 27 shooting? So an efficient night, 52% from the field, 44% from 3, 4 of 9. So just another night of Luka doing it all for the Mavs.
Yeah, it's not foreign at this point. I'm just telling you before we get started, he's making me eat my words. Some things that I said last week that he's incredible right now. I mean, the way he was passing, he's passing over double coverage, which is normal for him. It's not something that he's not used to. He sees this stuff all the time. The pass to Josh Green, the laser in the paint, was insane. This one looked like the Mavs might pull away in the first quarter or first half. They were up by as many as 16, I believe. And then the Warriors kind of came back.
Like any Warriors game, you're going to have to fight off a couple runs from them when they hit a few threes and put a bunch of points on the board in a hurry. So overall, we're always trying to long-term out the Mavericks and kind of hedge our expectations on whether or not this is sustainable. But for one night, super impressive win by Dallas. It's mostly Luka, but they had a couple times where it looks like they might kind of give the game away when the Warriors were storming, but they held them off. Good possessions at the end of the game. For right now, the Mavs are hanging tough. We don't know if they're going to be able to do this in March and April and May, but
that's true. So he is currently, I got some stats here. So according to StatMuse, first in points per game by a guard. Weird that it's a stipulation there, but fourth in assists per game, fourth in steals per game, first in triple doubles, first in 40-point games. He looks like the MVP right now. We were talking about this a little bit before. We don't really know that it's sustainable, this level of play. I mean, we haven't seen anything like this since Harden in 17 or 16, 17. But, he's playing out of his mind. The one thing that I did want to pull up, which was controversial, kind of lit Twitter ablaze, was the Steph Curry questionable travel violation turnover thing, which I have here. So,
in the final possession?
Yeah, what did you think about this? Oh, there we go. Interesting. I mean, I can't decide if...
So my go-to on Twitter for this is Coach Nick at B-Ball Breakdown, and I'm almost certain he last night was talking about how this was a travel based on, I think he lands left foot, right foot. Because at first I thought the refs thought it was a jump stop because it looked like Steph sort of made this jump stop and then took another step. Okay, so that would have been a travel. But then when you look at it, it's like, no, wasn't quite a jump stop, but he kind of jumped backwards and landed left, right, which would have made the left foot the pivot foot. And then he moves the left foot again to try to pump fake out of the first defender, which again would have been a travel. So, this has been a focus this year. The refs have been calling travels a lot more, especially in this game. Holy cow.
He got called for 3 travels this game.
I think Luka had a couple. I think Josh Green had one. That's not something they've called in the past, but that doesn't mean it hasn't been a travel.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. So overall, it's coming down to the wire. Steph has a look at it right there, as you can see, and then Clay misses the beautifully drawn play by Steve Kerr and the coaching staff there.
Yeah, the Mavs couldn't play that any better.
That is
worse.
That is as good a look as you can get for one of the best 3-point shooters of all time. Of course, the tweet that I saw was, the backdrop falling on Jason Tatum. And it's like Clay for the win, and then he's because he's not shooting very well right now. So, or recently, I suppose. But so the Mavs pick up that win there, and stay in. Or do they move up? Double check here. Mavs are now in the 9th spot, so they stay. They're back to 500 at 10-10. Warriors are right there next to them at the 10th spot at 11-11. Yeah, so playoff intensity. I mean, it kind of came down to the wire and looked pretty close there. So
I think it's good to always have some midseason games with, like you said, that playoff intensity. A lot of times you don't get that. If this isn't on TNT, maybe you still don't. But I think the combination of who the teams are, being on national television, pretty healthy rosters. It was a good night of basketball.
It was. This brings us to our next one, which is the Knicks over the Pistons. Boy, oh boy. On his 28th birthday, Julius Randle had a 36-piece McNugget, which was fine. Here are some looks at some of his buckets. He's hitting from outside. This was over also very early, about midway through the second quarter, double-digit lead for the Knicks. The Pistons have bottom 5 defense in the league, so not a whole lot to go over on this one. It doesn't really change much for either team. Knicks are in the 10th spot still at 10-11. And, of course, the Pistons are dead last at 5-18. Hot on their tail, though, the Orlando Magic. Wembanyama challenge. They're helping. They're doing what they can.
They're both missing guys and just, they're doing their best to tank.
Yeah.
You look at some of these other teams, and you're like, the Rockets are winning. Of course, the Jazz are winning. We never know what the Hornets are up to. But with the Magic and Pistons, we know. They're tanking. Yeah. They're making that clear. So it is always funny when a team that Charles Barkley is kind of rooting for disappoints him. That always makes for good television, because they went to the halftime of the Mavs Nuggets game, and he's just like, these Pistons stink, man. It's just pure disappointment at how bad they're playing. It's like, well, I think some of it is deliberate, but yeah, they're a rough watch. I mean, they might. It's tough to watch some Pistons games, and the Knicks brand of basketball right now isn't. I don't know. I mean, Jalen Brunson's playing well, but Julius Randle can give you maybe the most boring 36-point night you've ever seen.
I mean, you can see here he's hitting shots. Like he's hitting from outside. I mean, but yeah, this wasn't that much of a contest here. And then the Knicks go on to win 140-110. Doesn't change anything standings wise, as I mentioned. The Pistons though had 7 players in double figures, so something happened. I mean, somebody was doing something out there. It just probably wasn't what they were thinking. Isaiah Stewart.
Nobody had 20.
Yeah, that's true. Isaiah Stewart, 19-5, was their leading scorer. Which, if Isaiah Stewart's your leading scorer, it probably kind of is a good account of where you're at, how you're performing at the moment.
Their best starter was a -20. That was Marvin Bagley. Another fun little plus minus. I never see this. Julius Randle, 36 points and a +36. So that's pure production.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need. That's exactly what you're looking for. That's 100% right there. Okay, well, let's get back to some exciting ball at least of these 3 games that we've got to go over. Clippers over the Blazers. The Blazers led by 18 at one point. And the Clippers complete the comeback thanks in large part to Norm Powell, who had 32 points off the bench, I want to be sure that this is. I think that this is what we're looking for here.
A lot of damage against.
Mute that. Here it is. Yeah, Norm Powell, 32 points off the bench. 14 made shots. Nothing crazy jumps off the stat sheet, but just made the right play over and over. Kept hitting shots.
Yeah, love a little revenge game early in the season. So
Yeah.
It's funny that it's coming from Norman Powell, but I had to go back and look. Traded on my birthday last year in February. At the time, I thought this was sort of a bizarre trade because they gave up Powell, who was looking great at the time, along with Robert Covington, who I believe they gave up 2 firsts for the year before that.
Yeah.
So still one of the most confusing trades I've seen in recent memory. They traded Powell to get off his contract in order to extend Anthony Simons. So that looks good, at least.
Yeah.
You at least were able to retain Simons, but why they included Covington in that trade, I never understood. And you saw that last night. Covington made some big plays for them, hit a couple clutch threes. If you're the Blazers, I'm sure you're wondering why he's not on your bench instead. Just some bad moves that kind of bit him in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, and also they won this game without Kawhi or Paul George. So you're getting contributions from, you get 41 minutes from Reggie Jackson, who, looking at this roster, is probably your best player right now. Even though, Norm Powell had the big game last night. Like, is it him? Is it Zubats? Like, it's probably Reggie Jackson.
Zubats earlier in the week. Yeah.
24 and 12 for Reggie Jackson. Nothing to sneeze at. The big bright spot, though, for the Blazers, their young guy who continues to shine, Anthony Simons, 9 threes. And I've got that pulled up here. I mean, he was hitting from everywhere, and he was hot.
Yeah, this was funny. After yesterday morning, I said, watch the fourth quarter for Anthony Simons. I don't want to, provide sicko watch ask that you should watch an entire Blazers game, because sometimes that's a bit tough. But, watch Simons in the fourth quarter. And then, of course, last night, he just goes off in the first half from the very jump. So wasn't quite as productive in the fourth quarter as he's been this season. A lot of that production came in the first half instead. But yeah, he can knock down shots from anywhere. He's beating his first defender and getting into the paint and causing trouble. He's 23 years old, and he just got extended last year. So he's a great, great piece for the Blazers, and it paid off. They kept him. There were a lot of trade offers over the past few years that were keeping Dame and CJ and trading Simons, or packaging CJ and Simons. And they said no. They kept saying no. And now we're seeing the fruits of that. So good on him for that part.
Yeah. I'm glad to see that he's thriving. I mean, I think the Blazers kind of took I don't want to call it a gamble, but they definitely, chose youth and Simons over CJ when that trade presented itself. And I think it's paying off with him, and Josh Hart's playing pretty well. So I think that they, I don't want to say they won that trade, but I think that they probably, for their future, they probably made the right move there. So, any other notes on this somehow close but still somewhat boring game from the Clippers, who stormed back to still make it to grab the win there? Any other notes on that one?
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, it's boring, and on the other, you got to applaud them for winning games while letting their stars kind of rest up and heal. That's why we're talking about how much trouble the Lakers are constantly in, because they can't do that sitting their stars. So you got to give them props for that. The Blazers are going to continue to kind of take their lumps. They've got the talent. It's just kind of a toughness thing down the road. They don't defend well in the final moments of games. And I think some of that comes with getting Dame back. That'll certainly help. Yeah. So I expect them to kind of hover about where they're at. I think they're, let's see, what spot are they in? 7th spot. I mean, I think that's pretty fair, just above 500. I think that's kind of where they'll sit for now. But yeah, just always an exciting watch. Good league pass team.
Yeah, the Blazers are fun, and in those waning moments, the Blazers really could tell that they really could have used some Dame. Just kind of not a whole lot of direction. In those moments, you kind of need your guy to be there. So, they were definitely missing Dame last night. You could feel that. But let's take a look at what we've got tonight, because they said let's put 3 games on one night, and then just everybody else is here the next night. So looking ahead to this evening, Cavs Sixers, exciting matchup. Hawks Magic, pretty fun as well. Maybe.
Bull.
Yes, Bull.
Required viewing.
Mm-hmm. Heat Celtics, not the matchup it would have been last season or 2 seasons ago, probably.
Oof.
Celtics probably are going to take care of business there if I had to bet my money. And Nets Wizards. So if you guys are listening to the podcast, do you know that you know that the punishment is to bomb for this month, right?
Oh goodness.
Yes.
I'm glad I'm not participating.
Yeah.
This time.
and Justin was obviously very anti. I don't want that to be the punishment and all that.
And then he bet on the Wizards.
Yes, he put it all on the Wizards. So he put it on the Wizards to beat the Nets. The Wizards went 0-3 last week, 2 losses to the Heat. I don't. So that's a. If you're keeping up with the podcast, guys, be sure you watch that game, because that has some implications. Bucks Knicks. I think your boys are going to take care of that one.
I mean, Grizzlies Wolves. That's a good matchup.
That's an
after the
exciting
playoffs.
matchup.
Yeah, even
Cat,
without
though,
Cat.
now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see.
Well, I mean, the people doubting the Wolves have said that's the next move. So let's see.
Trading Cat.
Yeah.
How
do they look without him?
I'll give credit to Justin. He said it 3 weeks ago. He said they gotta move on from Cat. And I was like, whoa, what? You're crazy. And now it's looking like that might be the move.
It's one of his more lukewarm takes, I think.
Yeah,
at this point.
It was hot, and it cooled to room temperature very quickly.
Sitting on the windowsill for a while now.
Raptors Pels, 2 teams that I probably, in my mind, just kind of rate around the same, at least performance-wise, not potential-wise, production. So I'm excited for this one. I think that'll be a good matchup as well. Thunder Spurs. What's SGA's over? Give it to me. I want it.
Yeah. Oof.
Although, Pop still does some pretty good team defensive schemes. Nuggets Rockets. That's not going to be much of a game. Suns Bulls is what I bet on. I bet the Suns. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'm in such a lead. I don't have to take the bomb, and also I wouldn't be bothered by it. But Suns Bulls, I picked the Suns.
What was the spread on that?
I don't remember, but I just took them outright.
A few, I imagine.
Yeah, several. I would assume. Clippers Jazz should be exciting. The Jazz keep giving all these contenders, quote unquote contenders, a run for their money. And then Pacers Kings, the 2 hottest teams in the league.
We get to see a little. Have Halliburton and Sabonis played each other?
I don't think so.
I don't think they have.
So. I'm excited to see what he does. He broke an NBA record, 40 assists with 0 turnovers in the last 3 games. First player to ever do that. And then Lakers Blazers on a back-to-back. Of course, we just talked about them. Lakers trying to recover from that heartbreaker loss to the Pacers the other night. So some good games on this evening. I think everything is exciting except maybe 3 of these. Like the Bucks Knicks, I'd watch just because Giannis.
Yeah.
Everything
good
else.
Of games.
Yeah, it is a good slate. So exciting to watch there. Anything else? Anything you got for the people?
No, I'm excited to talk more ball tomorrow. Got a lot more to talk about. So
yeah, we do. We will have a lot more to talk about. So look forward to that. That'll do it for me. I don't really have anything. Go listen to the podcast. Hit the link in the description of this episode of Yay Basketball Daily to do all things Yay Basketball. Our TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, the podcast, of course. If you're not on YouTube, check it out on YouTube or any of the streaming platforms. Rate 5 stars. Share with a friend. All that good stuff that we could go on and on about. Thank you so much for watching. We love you, and we will talk to you soon. And don't forget, Yay Basketball.